back, brother. This content is for those genuinely interested in men's rights. It covers complex, controversial topics that may not suit a general audience. If you're not part of the men's rights community, this video isn't for you, so feel free to tune out now. I'm Conrad Riker, a writer and advocate for fairness, dignity, and respect for men. This movement isn't about division, but addressing systemic injustices in divorce, family law, and societal expectations. Inspired by hard-working men unfairly stripped of their rights, I write for balance and justice. Together, we can change the narrative. Please like and subscribe if you appreciate this video, as it will help get the word out to those who need it. Thank you. Please relax and enjoy. This is an excerpt from Revealing the Truth, Understanding Family Law from a Man's Perspective. Revealing the Truth, Understanding Family Law from a Man's Perspective is an ebook available in all good stores. If you're a man who's tired of being treated like a second-class citizen in family courts, this book is for you. It's for those who feel their rights are being stripped away without due process, who are concerned about the impact of false allegations on their lives and their children's well-being. It's for those who want to understand the manipulation of family courts, the absence of due process for men, the role of biased legal representation and judiciary. It's for those who want to read case studies that showcase the extremes of unjust rulings and discuss the consequences of these manipulations on men's lives. It's for those who want to explore reforms to protect men's rights in family law. I'm Conrad Riker, the author of Revealing the Truth, Understanding Family Law from a Man's Perspective. I've seen firsthand how the family court system can fail men. I've seen how allegations are accepted without scrutiny, how due process is absent in family court settings, and how biased legal representation and judiciary can impact the outcome of a case. I've seen the consequences of these manipulations on men's lives, and I've seen the need for reform. I've also seen the impact of false allegations, the economic consequences of child support and alimony, and the psychological toll of constant shaming on men. I've seen how the myth of gender equality is used to undermine masculinity, and how the emasculation of men is promoted in society. I've seen how the concept of toxic masculinity is used to shame and control men, and how vulnerability can be weaponized against them. I've seen the rise of the soft man, and the detrimental effects of this trend on both men and women. I've seen the psychological warfare of feminism, and how blame shifting to men avoids accountability in women's issues. I've seen the future of men in a gynocentric world, and the potential societal shifts prompted by current trends. I've seen the importance of men stepping up as leaders and fathers, and the actionable steps they can take to reclaim their agency. This book is not for everyone. If you're not a man who's tired of being treated like a second-class citizen in family courts, if you're not concerned about false allegations and due process, if you're not interested in understanding the manipulation of family courts and the role of biased legal representation and judiciary, then this book is not for you. If you're not interested in exploring reforms to protect men's rights in family law, then put this book down. Find a hobby, do something else with your time. But if you are the target audience, if you want to understand the injustices in family courts and learn how to protect your rights, then buy this book today. It's time to take back control and fight for fairness in family law. With the introduction completed, we are jumping to an extract from the book. I believe there is a fundamental misunderstanding about what masculinity is, and the term toxic masculinity is often misused as a tool to shame and control men. Real masculinity has merits and is vital for society. Unfortunately, men often find themselves in a double bind, expected to showcase vulnerability while simultaneously being shamed for not being manly enough. This contradiction emasculates men and creates a toxic environment for them to navigate. From an early age, boys are taught to suppress their emotions, to be a man and not show weakness. We've seen this narrative play out throughout history. It's reinforced by the media, pop culture, and even in our personal lives. Still, when men show their emotions or vulnerability, they are ridiculed or branded as weak. This creates a toxic double bind where men are projected to be strong, stoic, and unyielding, but are punished when they show any sign of not living up to these expectations. For example, take the classic movie trope of a man crying. It's a rarity, right? Men are expected to hold their emotions in check, to remain stoic in the face of adversity. Yet, if a man doesn't show vulnerability when it's appropriate, he's labeled as emotionally unavailable or cold-hearted. It's a lose-lose situation. The weaponization of vulnerability is another means by which men are trapped in this double bind. It's a catch-22 situation. show your feelings and get mocked for not being manly or suppress them, and be emotionally distant. This no-win situation leaves men in an impossible position, regardless of what they do. This emasculation of men is further accentuated by the hypocrisy surrounding the term toxic masculinity. Men cannot escape this misandrous trap, because they are simultaneously shamed for lacking masculinity and demonized for exhibiting. So, what does this mean for masculinity? Is it inherently toxic? Of course not. Manliness, at its core, isn't harmful. Actually, when properly grasped and used, it can bring about positivity. For evidence, just consider the numerous instances of genuine manliness in action, such as firefighters rushing into blazing buildings to shield others, or troops risking their lives for their homeland. So, why the misunderstanding? It's because the term toxic masculinity has been weaponized and used as a double bind that traps men. Its misuse has created a narrative that masculinity is something to be feared, and that men should be ashamed of their natural instincts and desires. But this is a lie. Masculinity, when understood and guided by positive attributes such as bravery, honor, and integrity, is not only beneficial but essential for society. I believe we need to challenge these narratives and counter them with positive examples of masculinity. We need to debunk the myth that masculinity is inherently toxic, and instead promote a healthier understanding of what it means to be a man. It's about time we recognize the importance and the positive aspects of masculinity, instead of falling for the toxic masculinity narrative. It's time to reclaim masculinity and to understand it as a force for good. We need to reject the double bind that misandrists have attempted to trap us in, and start recognizing once again the virtues of real masculinity. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your interest in revealing the truth. Understanding family law from a man's perspective, available in all good bookstores. Please like and subscribe. Thank you and God bless.